Good morning. Yeah, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind. I was staying on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Everybody turn your cameras on. Say hello. We want to see you. Stayed on spirit all day long with my mind. Stayed on spirit all day long with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 All day long with my mind. Stayed on spirit. All day long with my mind. Stayed on spirit. All day long with my mind. Stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 Walking and talking. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah. 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 Please welcome Anthony Prado.
Good. I have. Okay, unmute myself. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to OCSL, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. First of all, thank you, Kev and Luqman. Wow, fired up the morning. And I want to just say more about our musicians. And this goes to you, Kev, Luqman, Omega, Jennifer, Cozy, Debbie Santa Maria, and anybody else. Your music is very important to us. I'm not sticking my neck out saying that, and we greatly appreciate your talent, especially during what we're going through right now. But always, Kev, you've been with us for some years now, and we look forward to it, and we get excited, inspired, and really uplifted. Thank you for setting the tone for our services. It's important, it's fun, and it's serious at the same time. So thank you. And like I said, I think I could speak on behalf of everyone here at the church. My name is Anthony Prado. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees here. Um, and again, welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. We teach spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all of life. And for those welcome, special welcome for those of you joining us for the first time on Zoom. Thank you for coming, showing your support. If you came across us through YouTube, or we're going to go to Facebook soon, or however you've come across this, our channel, our broadcast, and if you're interested in more about what we do, please contact our administrative coordinator. Her name is Constance Chapman, and her email is constance at oaklandcsl, that's all one word, oaklandcsl.org. And we also want to ask everyone, since this is a sacred atmosphere, meaningful messages coming through from our ministers, we would appreciate if everybody could honor the sacred moment of our service by keeping your microphone and your video turned off. So our first announcement is to honor the children, honor the future of our world, of our culture and society. We have a slide for this, and we have yes, there they are. And these Buddhist monks playing soccer. So let's say this together with the microphone off. We honor all our youth and children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you for being in our lives. And so it is. All right. Then I got some announcements as usual. This coming Wednesday, Lucian Baker will be speaking about, and there he is, stepping into the unknown. That's a part of our Wednesday satsang service. Wednesday meditation at 6:30. Service is at 7. As most of you know, Lucian's a very dynamic speaker. He pulls you in. If you think you can get away with not paying attention, think again, because this guy is very magnetic, and he has something to say. I really like his style. Then the next announcements. The memorial wall for Reverend Jeff is still up, and there is still room for your words and drawings. Yes. Large sheets of paper hanging off the fence in the parking lot, and there's some examples of messages people have put up. And then we just saw the picture, but while you are there, check out the beautiful altar in the social room. And that's a collection of things that Jeff had in his possession. So if you haven't, I went up there the first time we put it up, but I'm going to go back up there and just walk around, and it'll feel like community just seeing messages from all of you. It's another moment of solidarity, sacred solidarity. All right, then the next one, if you're wanting to be in more intimate settings with other villagers during this tender time of releasing Reverend Jeff and processing your grief, you have the opportunity to join one of two groups that are going on here at the center. There's what's called the Noontime Spiritual Exploration, Monday through Friday, like it says, 12 to 12:30. Dr. Daniel Lee Morgan is facilitating that. There's readings from Ernest Holmes and discussion. The second group is actually, there are two second groups. Practitioner Susan Brecker is leading an in-person small group Tuesday from 3 to 4. I assume that's at the church. And then practitioner Zoe Murrow is leading an online and small group on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Both groups explore the readings for the week and enjoy the connections the gathering affords. And then on Sunday, that's next Sunday, a week from today, April 18th, we have an event called Recline and Release Soundscape for Deep Relaxation. This hour-long event is in honor of Reverend Jeff and the village as we make our way forward into our greatest yet to be. I was reading up on it. Go to the website, you'll see more details, but some of it says it involves yoga, stretching, and the use of healing sounds like chimes and gongs and singing bowls. It sounds very nice. There are more details, like I said, there are more details about this on the website, ocsl.org. All love donations will be going to the Center for Spiritual Living Teen Camp Capital Fund, which is in Reverend Jeff's name. Again, check the Village News for more information on this fund and go to the website. And last but not least, the Women's Transformation Group, I believe it was scheduled for next Sunday. It says 12:30. That time has changed to 3 o'clock, so just take note of that. It is meeting again, like it says, the 18th, but time has been changed from 12:30 to 3. So as you can see, we've got a lot going on at the center. Actually, I was wrong on that website address. It's oaklandcsl.org. I said oecsl.org, and I was wrong on that. So check out the website. As you can see, these announcements. There's just a few things that are going on there. And last but not least, let's have our vision statement. Okay. Again, you can say this with the microphone off. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week. And I'm going to turn this over to Susan Urquhart Brown. Thank you. Are we, Susan, taking over? You're muted.
Yay, now I'm off mute. Okay. All right, good morning. Yes, I'm Susan Urquhart Brown, and I am a licensed practitioner here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And it's my joy to be with you this morning. And I have two readings, both from Ernest Holmes. The first is, "This is the greatest discovery of all time. The road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws." And the second reading is also from Ernest Holmes. "Keeping the goal in mind, refusing to be baffled or defeated, with uplifted thought and calm but definite purpose, we cannot fail." So let's take a breath, going into prayer, recognizing the oneness of all, the beauty of oneness that is ever present in every single precious moment. That oneness that is the grace of life, that is love, that is tenderness, that is joy, and especially as we've been speaking about today, the joy of nature and knowing that we are absolutely one with nature as well. So just recognizing this and knowing that we are here together, also in joy, in connection, in peace, and in community. And especially during this tender time, we are in community, continuing to release our beloved Reverend Jeff Anderson as he finds his next expression and continues on his next expression of life. How good it is to know this. And so I am so grateful for our community, for this time we do spend together in the beauty of community and embracing all of us with the love and peace and joy of the divine spirit that is ever present right here and right now. So I bless everyone who has stepped up to service today, our whole community who is here together as we give each other perhaps a big virtual hug for being together here today and being able to express what is in our hearts with ease and grace. And so I release this word knowing that all is moving in divine right action and divine right timing right here and right now. So please join with me in saying, and so it is. And now we will go back and hear from Luqman and Kev Choice.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Nothing goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of. Except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds, they fly. winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Everything will change. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. 'Cause that's the way of time. Everyone will change. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, hummingbirds, they fly. Rain comes from the clouds and sun lights up the sky. Hummingbirds, they fly. Rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky. Hummingbirds, they fly. Rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky. Music makes me. Everything must change. Now we'll turn it over to Reverend Geri.
Oh my, such a blessing once again. Thank you too. This music is so beautiful and sets the tone in such an amazing way for today's talk. So thank you. I honor you, and I'm always so blessed by the two of you. Just breathing in that beautiful music. So today is Sunday, April 11th, and I'm Reverend Geri Carter, a staff minister here at Oakland Center and on our ecclesiastical leadership team. So I'm honored to be with you today. And the monthly theme, of course, is stepping into the unknown. And the talk title today is The Winds of Change. So the music was so very appropriate. And for those of you who were in our meditation, Zoe set a beautiful tone for the topic today. So thank you all. And I'm welcoming everyone here, for those here for the first time and for all of our congregation. It's just great to be with you. So as I often do, I like to start off with a little bit of a funny. So I think John's going to support us with the first slide related to our topic, the winds of change. Okay, so who wants change? Everybody wants change. Who wants change? Everybody wants change, but who wants to change? Uh-huh. And then our next slide, please. Pastoral Search Committee. Well, in our case, it'd be minister. And of course, we're not there yet. But basically, we're looking for an innovative pastor or minister with a fresh vision who will inspire our church to remain exactly the same. Of course, there's so many wonderful things about our congregation and our community and Oakland Center, but I know that Reverend Jeff would definitely want us to be open to change and be open to change gracefully. Thank you, John. I had another one that I forgot to put up there, but it was very cute. It said, it shows a church and it shows people leaving, and it says, "We are leaving because we do not like the way things are done. And then on the other side, it shows people arriving saying we are arriving because we didn't like the way things were done elsewhere. So this is so true. I mean, as I often say, and Wayne Dyer said it best, we take ourselves with us wherever we go. So consequently, we're uh, it's up to us to accept the changes that are coming forth. And that's basically what our topic today is related to. So the context for the month is that, well, of course, in March, we opened ourselves to the highest possibilities in our lives by living in the question, in the vision. So we did a lot around visioning last month. But this month, we are beginning our journey, and we are living from our vision redefined. So throughout this month, we are embracing change with curiosity as we navigate our new path with practical spirituality. And when I say practical, I mean hands-on and useful teaching methods, realizing there are infinite possibilities available to each of us. Yes, infinite possibilities. The month which Reverend Sally spoke to last week, and we will read again this week, is we envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers her own power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. Reverend Sally also discussed respectful communication last week, and we'll be hearing more about that as the year progresses. But again, that is so very helpful in supporting us in navigating the winds of change. Freedom is the birthright of every individual. Another CSL Global Vision statement. Freedom is the birthright of every individual. We are free to choose and create our experience of life. We are free to the degree that we allow ourselves to become less resistant to upsets in life. When you can embrace opportunities and move in a new direction, you have a choice to stay in the comfortable, the order that you are most familiar with, or to take a step into chaos or disorder, opening yourself to release blockages that make the choices, and make the choices to create a life that works for everyone. I believe that these blockages are here to grow us to our greatest yet to be. I believe that for the chaos and the disorder that shows up and disrupts our lives oftentimes. I believe that they are here to grow us. And as you consciously poise yourself in the realization that you live in pure spirit, new power will be born within you. Can you believe this for yourself? You will find yourself renewed by the divine life, led by a divine intelligence, guarded by divine love. And let us not forget those sacred words from our beloved Reverend Jeff. Love is the greatest power. Love is the greatest power. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a sailor. Yes. In my early 20s, my brother George and I co-owned a sailboat together, a 27-foot Catalina, and he taught me all about sailing. Think about sailing on the San Francisco Bay. I know that we've all driven across the bridge and looked out on the bay and saw all the sailboats moving around. However, when there is very little wind, sailors scan the calm by bay. They look out on the bay for any ripples on the water. When located, the skipper changes direction and heads towards the disturbances to find wind that is blowing there. The sails fill up, and the boat receives the power to sail quickly towards its destination. It's the winds of change that propel life forward. Those who are most successful in locating disturbances on the water reach their destination and complete the race. They have embraced the changing winds. And I say this because oftentimes in life, there are upsets which bring disorder to our lives of presumed order. Of course, we all like things orderly and neat and like to be reassured. That's our natural human reaction to seek order and resist the disorder and discomfort, which is demanding a change in direction. However, we continue to muddle through and remain in the zone of comfort and ease because it feels familiar to us. I think you know what I mean. It is these moments of upset in the normal calm of everyday life which offers us the opportunity for change. The same holds true as mentioned above. Those who are most successful in locating disturbances on the waters of life reach their destination and complete the race. They have embraced the changing winds. Remember, we are always propelled by the creative energy of divine life. And how good is that, that we can always lean into that creative energy of divine life to place us right where we need to be in any given moment. And I have to mention that there's no simple way to respond to the disorder which forces us to reorder our life and head in a new direction. You know, oftentimes we must reflect on what was good or helpful in the past. Otherwise, you may tend to spend your energy on resistance or reaction. The practice of welcoming these moments into your life can be the key to bringing you back to the place of acceptance, to surrender, which then allows the wind of change to blow you in a new direction and the creative power of the universe to propel you forward on this new path. This takes great faith and trust, as I said earlier. And guess what? We all can do it. Yes, we can all do this. I'd like to share a slide with you from Richard Rohr, just this. And the slide says, I got the slide. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. It is in these moments that we are broken open and can release the blockages in our lives. Otherwise, we hold on to them with resistance. Yes, we hold on to them with resistance. So welcome these thoughts and feelings and emotions and situations and people and conditions. You know, Reverend Jeff used to talk about the drivers on the freeway and, you know, how chaotic and crazy it could get. Bless them all. This is how we release the blockages in our lives. So, with that being said, as we deepen our spiritual practices of welcoming in everything into our lives and see blockages and disappointments as opportunities, gratefully, and I emphasize the word grateful as a very important spiritual practice in our lives, accepting them with an open heart, you surrender to the normal process of these three words: disorder, reorder, order, which propels us forward in the direction of the vision of our lives. This practice opens the way to embrace change with openness, with curiosity, and renewed commitment to the vision for your life, our life, and opens the way to make choices which are in alignment with that vision. So if you'd like to just rest into your seat, I'm going to read a poem before we move into prayer by Dr. Pasat Bhatt. It's called The Winds of Change. When I go to bed and close my eyes at night, disappointment strikes. I'm appalled by hate and fight. I wake up in the dream. My hopes go estrange. I look up at the heavens to plead for winds of change. Hovering clouds of doubt reveal a ray of light. A brighter sun will shine after the darkest night. I shed off despair to let my thoughts rearrange and brace up for the challenge to blow the winds of change. I wake up in the morning, sun is shining bright. My heart is full of zeal. I focus on a kite. I pledge for love and peace, seek nothing in exchange. That's how I will strive to sail with winds of change. So let us close our eyes and prepare for our prayer. Taking a deep breath, knowing that this breath is the breath of the one divine power and presence, the spirit within, the divine mind that is eternal and everlasting. So breathing that in. As we acknowledge the I am that I am, I speak my words now for everyone in our community and beyond. I know our ministers, our administrative staff, our congregation, our support staff, everyone involved, our AV team, everyone who supports our community in such deep and loving ways recognizes the goodness that they are. And I speak my word for our spiritual community, our congregation, that they are held in the love and the light of spirit as we make our way through the release of our beloved Reverend Jeff, and accept that something new is being birthed right here and right now. We are individualized beings of the one spirit, and I claim and accept that divine ideas are surging through us, guiding us, directing us, expanding our consciousness as more people are learning and practicing these beautiful and amazing principles of our teaching, the science of mind. Every day and in every way, we are all seeing through the eyes and are participating in the creation of a world that works for everyone. Heaven on earth is being revealed right here and right now. We are forever expanding our consciousness. And I know that ideas that do not represent Spirit's highest idea of life fall away to the nothingness from which they have come. And we continue to embrace those which are life-giving, which are compassionate, and which represent the truth of our being. Spirit delights in its individualization and expression by means of us. Let us just know that. Spirit delights in us. So, our prayers for this month's nonprofit partner, Rainforest Action Network. They will be represented a little bit later, sharing a global network supporting and working closely from frontline communities, providing cutting-edge research, analysis, also taking action against the companies and industries driving deforestation and climate change. We'll have the opportunity to meet with Ginger Cassidy in a little bit, but continuing on in the prayer and blessing Ginger and this magnificent nonprofit partner. We also continue to bless Mother Earth for her resilience and beauty and our mindfully increasing stewardship of her. We are so grateful for all that she provides us as a human race. And blessing our youth and the youth of the world, knowing they are guided by the loving mind and heart of Spirit. Blessing all of those in service, creating a world that works for everyone. And we're knowing love, comfort, and healing for all of those impacted by challenges in whatever form. For Leela, Phyllis, and Volme Wallace. For Peter Chang. For Sophia and her family. For Dodie Baker, Michael Mendez, and Kathleen Hooper. Just knowing the grace and the goodness of the divine is with each one of them, each step of the way. And blessing the continued journey that our beloved Reverend Jeffrey Anderson is on, and knowing for him and for his family peace, a peace that passes all understanding, and for Janine, for all of his friends, and for our OCSL community, knowing that there is a divine idea in the mind of Spirit that is ushering all of us through this time of change, the change of winds in our community. And for Blake Kilkenny and the Morgan family, sending them blessings during a time of transition. And I ask you now to take a moment to speak the name or names of anyone who may be on your heart who is in need of a prayer this day.
Teresa Gardner, Shirley Hetty, Jamel G.
Kathy Mullins.
So as the names continue to be spoken, the names that continue to be held in our hearts, we know that all is in divine order for each and every one, and we send them love and blessings. And let us gratefully embrace our forever expanding consciousness and how life unfolds by means of us. God is having a good time, and we are rejoicing in the divine life. As I release these words into that universal law of mind, I know that all of our earthly needs are being met every day and in every way. And if this is the truth for you, please join me in saying, and so it is. And we have our giving affirmation slide. This is a time of conscious giving in our community. Giving is such a gift to support our community in so many ways. I know that we'll be reopening our center at some point in time, and it's ready to receive us in all of its beauty and glory, and that is because of your giving. The giving affirmation is, this gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. So on our website, you will find a donate button, which makes it very easy to give. There's also a text to donate. And again, your gifts are so beautifully received. And that law of circulation is continued in our lives as we give. So now I would like to take a moment to thank you in advance for your givingness. You can still continue to pledge, by the way. Pledge cards are still available. And if you'd like to set your giving amount as a monthly or weekly automatic deduction, that is absolutely welcomed as well. So thank you so much for being with me in the service today. It was a delight and a pleasure as we all embrace the winds of change as we move forward together in our community. And now I'm going to introduce us to Ginger Cassidy. And Ginger is going to share with us all about Rainforest Network. Ginger, welcome.
Thank you, Reverend Geri, and thank you for your kind words. It's really an honor to be here today with all of you. And John, if you want to pull up the first slide. So I'm with Rainforest Action Network. We're a local Bay Area organization that works to protect rainforests because we all depend on forests. Lush and primordial, the world's rainforests are habitat to countless animal species and an abundance of plants and varieties that we are still discovering to this day. For millions of local and indigenous people, forests are their homes, hunting grounds, and ceremonial lands. In managing their forests, they ensure the survival of their community and their culture. And that's something that we work towards at Rainforest Action Network. But whether you have a rainforest in your backyard or the nearest is halfway around the world, we all depend on forests. Forests produce the oxygen and rainfall. They regulate global temperatures and absorb massive amounts of carbon out of the atmosphere, one of the key drivers of climate change, and safely store it underground. From the cool air we breathe to the clean drinking water that we drink, forests are foundational to life on Earth. The world's climate is at a perilous tipping point, though, and the natural technology of forests is the solution. And that's why we fight at Rainforest Action Network to protect our critical forests. Forests and the communities at the front lines of deforestation are increasingly under threat right now. But we still have a chance to protect what's left, and there's really no time to waste. We must keep forests intact and standing, and we must uphold the rights of frontline and indigenous communities as they are facing the most immediate threat. And right now, at organizations like RAN and with folks like you, we must draw a line in the sand, not another forest to ever be cut down. At Rainforest Action Network, we fight for a better future, for thriving forests and a stable climate and healthy communities. And the threats to these have never been greater at this current time, unfortunately. The world's forests continue to be burned and bulldozed and stolen for greater agricultural and industrial development. And we're losing them to greed and quick corporate profits at the local indigenous communities on the front lines of expansion are seeing their rights disregarded in these processes. And in the face of growing climate and ecological crises, forests have never been more critical to our collective survival. All around the world, as you can see in this picture that's in front of you, nature is really, really important, but unfortunately it's declining at an unprecedented rate. 1 million plant and animal species are facing extinction more than ever before in human history. The rate of extinction is accelerating, and the last remaining populations of iconic species like the Sumatran orangutan, to tigers and elephants and rhinoceroses are clinging to life and threatening tropical rainforests in places like Indonesia. And we are facing the loss of key species that are all too many in our own lifetime. And we are no longer talking about our livelihoods or future generations. We are facing the breakdown of life-sustaining ecosystems in a shorter time frame than most of people's home mortgages. Our threatened climate and forests and communities face the common culprit. For short-term profit of a few corporations, forests are being destroyed at the expense of all else. You can go to the next slide, John. Almost 30% of the world's forests have been completely cleared, with another 20% have been degraded, where forest is destroyed more gradually through overuse. Most of the rest of the world's forests have been fragmented, leaving only about 15% intact. The destruction of world's rainforests is a devastating self-reinforcing loop. As forests and carbon-rich peatlands are destroyed, they release an enormous amount of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and at the same time destroy the very trees and peatlands that can absorb the carbon and safely store it underground. So what we're doing at Rainforest Action Network is we're working to protect the last remaining intact forests, not just here in California, but all around the world, because they are the solution. And also, strong and organized local and indigenous communities are a key defense against corporate expansion. Frontline communities have proven time and time again to be some of the most powerful leaders in the fight for a livable and just future all around. We need just transformational change across all modern life systems, and that's what we're fighting for at Rainforest Action Network. Next slide. At RAN, we focus on challenging corporate power because it's corporations that are the worst polluters and the most rampant consumers and the biggest exploiters of people and the planet. Unchecked corporate greed ignores laws, regulations, and the moral imperative for maximum profit. And we're all left to pay this incredible high price. 40% of all global deforestation is from commodity production, mainly for beef, soy, palm oil, pulp and paper, and timber products. Corporations and their long-reaching supply chains, together with banks and financiers providing the capital, are clearing rainforests, ignoring land rights and other human rights, and further destabilizing our climate to turn the quickest profit. Our store shelves are lined with products made of expense at the expense of forests and banks who are using our money to invest in deforestation. But these corporations are really vulnerable to market pressure and fiercely protective of their brands and reputations. As consumers, we have the ability to change industry practices, and we have the power to hold companies accountable for their actions. We can hold them to their promises and make sure that they are eradicating deforestation and human rights abuses from their supply chains and their investments by harnessing our collective power. At Rainforest Action Network, we work along with our allies to run successful campaigns challenging corporations, and we've had a strong record of this for over 30 years. At RAN, we utilize tools to affect change, from undercover investigations to supply chain research to partnering with organizations on the ground to negotiate in corporate boardrooms to ask for systemic change across the world. This powerful pressure has enabled and has resulted in some meaningful change, not only here in the US, but around the world, to hold some of the biggest palm oil suppliers to protect forests. But we know the situation is really dire and the stakes are really high. And yet we are moved to action and determined to fight for the future, in part because of the big and bold resistance from frontline communities all around the world that have been mounting for years. From Standing Rock here in the US to the Mississippi Delta, from the Indonesian forest to the Congo Basin to the Amazon, communities have been standing up to the extractive industries, and they've been winning. Community organizing has won. Indigenous land rights that have been revoked, wrongfully issued government permits that would allow the destruction of indigenous land. Communities have been able to push back through our long-term campaigns. Community resistance has stopped a new pipeline from being built here in the US, new coal plants from being developed, and new areas of forest from being cut down. Collectively, we can challenge corporate power and we can win. That's why at Rainforest Action Network, we're fighting for a better future alongside communities all around the world and here in the Bay Area. And we see that a future where forest ecosystems are abundant, the global climate is stable, and that healthy communities can thrive. So we're hopeful, and we're asking for you all to please join us in this fight as we work to protect our forest and our climate. And you can see in the box our website. You can join us at ran.org.
Thank you so much, Ginger. And I think we can find some information on our website as well regarding your nonprofit, our nonprofit partnership with Rainforest Action Network. Great work. Thank you so much for reminding us of the importance of the actions that we take. So now I have the honor of turning the service back over to our beloved Susan Urquhart Brown.
Thank you so much, Jerry, and to everyone who stepped up to service today, and also to that very important information from Ginger Cassidy and Rainforest Action Network. Worthy organization that I do plan to support. So thank you for all your information today. And also thank you to our wonderful musicians, Luqman and Kev Choice. And a reminder that Judith Roberts is hosting our prayer room after service, and practitioners are ready and waiting for you to share prayers with you for anything on your heart. And also practitioners, we're always available for you. You can find In fact, you can go to Oakland Center for Spiritual Living website, and there's a whole list of practitioners that are offering 30-minute free sessions for you. So please take advantage of us. We love to pray with you and be with you. And so let's say together, even though you're muted, our closing affirmation, which is coming up on the screen. I am consciously aware of the presence of spirit. And so it is. And now it's my joy to turn it over to Kev and Luqman.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surrounds us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we reign